Do you think wild boar hunting is just a dangerous thrill deep in the forest? Think again. In Spain, it's actually a profession. The price for each kilogram of fresh wild boar meat can go up to 12 to 20 euros, depending on quality and season. So for hunters like us, this is more than just a passion or a way to protect crops. It's a livelihood.
Tamam.
Today, our destination is a licensed hunting estate in Candeleta, a town in the province of Avila. We had our first encounter with the beast right on the way there. The wild boar didn't hesitate to charge straight at us. Realizing the danger, I pulled the trigger immediately. Just one shot, and the animal dropped dead instantly. After reaching the mountain, we released the hunting dogs, who quickly spread out and began tracking the prey. There it is. A fairly large wild boar dashed out in panic. Unfortunately for it, every step was already in our sights. Diego, one of our hunters, raised his rifle and fired decisively. The boar was hit, staggered, and collapsed moments later. While some members were stationed downhill, my partner and I climbed higher to assist Dante in flanking the boar. Thankfully, the dog pack had already done their job. All that remained was for us to aim carefully and pull the trigger. From the last spot, I moved a few hundred meters further. Alone in this desolate terrain, I couldn't help but stay on high alert, especially as the sound of barking dogs grew louder. My heart pounded, hands gripping the rifle tightly as Within 10 seconds, I fired several rounds in quick succession. What a rush. I quickly radioed the team to share the good news. Tension was high at Diego's post too. He was waiting for the boar to reveal itself under the dog's relentless pursuit. Oh my God, that was close. It was a heart-pounding moment. Fortunately, Diego took it down just in time. If you're inexperienced or without a team, You should never go hunting alone. Out here, just 1 second too late could cost you your life. Following a trail that climbed a few hundred more steps, the dogs barked furiously again. Nothing else it could be. Only wild boars roam this rugged forest terrain. I raised my rifle carefully, ears perked, eyes scanning every bush. Movement. A boar burst out, and I fired several quick shots. Gun smoke filled the air, but more importantly, the boar was down. This might just be the luckiest hunt I've ever had. The signal to regroup was already sounded. But I couldn't leave just yet. It seemed the dogs had found one last unfortunate boar. There, after all the searching, I took it down in just a few seconds. Even though hunting is a source of income for us, we always strictly follow wildlife and environmental protection laws. We only hunt legal species during the correct seasons and with. Yeah. Tension, adrenaline, and pure suspense. These are the unforgettable emotions that come with wild boar hunting. But this journey isn't just about the thrill. It carries a greater mission: to protect crops, restore ecological balance, and reduce the damage caused by these destructive animals. And just like every time, we began another wild boar hunt today. Wasting no time, the moment we reached the mountain trail in our trusty vehicle, we released our hunting dogs to scout freely. Only about 10 minutes later, they erupted in frantic barking, a hopeful signal that a boar had been spotted. I rushed in, gun raised and ready. There it was. I moved quickly, adjusted my aim, and then, boom! A clean opening shot ended the chase in an instant. The boar dropped right where it stood. Hunting dogs truly make a huge difference. Thanks to them, we didn't need to wear ourselves out combing the vast area. They led us straight to the prey. Oh my God, look at that. Not one, but two wild boars came charging straight at us. My heart was pounding, but I kept my breath steady and fired 2 quick shots. In less than 5 seconds, both boars were down in a cloud of dust. An intense and exhilarating encounter. Once again, our loyal dogs came through. Hearing them barking in the distance, we tracked a boar attempting to flee. But this one didn't run away in fear. It charged straight at us with ferocity. Luckily, Roy was ready. One powerful shot was all it took to bring the aggressive boar crashing down. A call came in from one of our teammates. A boar had been spotted on the narrow trail ahead. We rushed forward, just in time to see it bursting into view. Without hesitation, we lined up the shot and nailed it. Another success, another trophy in our wild boar hunting journey. The chase was heating up. From our vantage point, we spotted a dense group of wild boars below. This was our moment. I singled out a boar that had broken away from the herd and quickly took my shot, but missed. We didn't give up. We immediately pursued it downhill, pushing forward until we found the perfect position. This time the shot hit. The boar collapsed and rolled down the slope. Mission accomplished. The terrain here was wide and densely forested, not ideal for spotting these clever, elusive creatures. They knew how to stay hidden and moved with surprising agility. After nearly an hour of searching, we finally spotted them on a nearby ridge. We couldn't let this golden opportunity slip away. Rushing to higher ground, we took aim and fired. A clean hit brought one boar down instantly, while the others scattered in fear. A series of fruit orchards in the area had been ravaged by wild boars attacking under cover of night. The growing damage left locals both anxious and helpless. That's when a friend of mine, a veteran hunter, reached out and rallied me along with our brothers in arms to take action. We moved from Chris's house toward the nearby mountain, constantly scanning our surroundings. Danger could strike at any moment. There it is. A wild boar was charging directly at us. I swiftly got into position and pulled the trigger without hesitation. The bullet hit dead center. The boar dropped instantly. A smooth and promising start. After that first encounter, we quickly shifted to a nearby hilltop to avoid exposing our position. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed from a distance. Wild boars. Shaking off the disappointment of our last failed attempt, we wasted no time and pressed on. Soon, we spotted a lone wild boar sprinting through the brush. I rushed to intercept it. Right as it broke cover, I squeezed the trigger. The ambush worked perfectly before it could make a sound. The boar collapsed in a cloud of dust and smoke. By now, fatigue had set in. We decided to return home and rest. That afternoon, we feasted on the spoils of the hunt, fresh wild boar dishes shared among the team. It was 2 p.m. when we resumed the hunt, cautiously moving along the silent slopes. Suddenly, dark silhouettes emerged along the hillside. This was our chance. We sprang into action, got into position, and took aim. Gunshots rang out, but unfortunately, we were too hasty. Not a single bullet hit. And just like that, the boars vanished into thin air. Before we could even catch our breath, our hunting dogs picked up a new target and began driving it toward us. Sensing the urgency, I raised my rifle, keeping my eyes locked on the boar's every movement. With just one well-placed shot, the boar dropped instantly. It was a swift takedown, but one that required patience, precision, and solid instincts. The late afternoon sun bathed the hills in golden light, making them look deceptively peaceful. But this was actually prime habitat for wild boars, where they lived and bred at breakneck speed. They're clever and fast, often weaving through dense foliage to escape danger. But not this time. We had already locked onto them. With that final victory, we wrapped up and headed back because staying in the wild after dark is a gamble no hunter wants to take. That's a wrap for this hunt. What did you think of today's adventure? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to follow more. Thanks for watching. In Texas, my uncle's farm was torn apart overnight by a horde of wild boars. Despite being an experienced hunter, this time the sheer number and boldness of the pigs overwhelmed him. With no other choice, he called in our hunting crew for backup. After finalizing the plan, we began our hunt right on my uncle's property. To lure the boars in, we set up automatic feeders. Attracted by the scent of food, the pigs arrived quickly, eagerly foraging every last bit. With their guard down, Marist steadily took her position, locked on her target, and 1, 2, 3, fire! A single clean shot. She dropped the boar with remarkable precision and confidence. At the same time, my buddy Inda and I spotted a few other boars lurking nearby. I closed in, picked my target, and squeezed the trigger. The lead pellet from my air rifle struck the boar's body. Startled, it let out a sharp cry before collapsing. It wasn't a huge win, but it felt damn good and got me fired up. With strength in numbers, we split up across the area to maximize our chances. Each of us focused hard, aiming with care and executing fast, decisive shots. The mission: drop as many as possible before nightfall. The next afternoon, we resumed the hunt on the farm grounds. Right as we arrived, we encountered a sizable group of full-grown boars. They stood frozen, watching us warily. I quickly brought one into my scope and fired. A single shot, and one of them hit the dirt instantly. We moved toward another feeder we'd pre-positioned. The boars hadn't noticed us yet, still caught in the invisible trap of their appetite. From a tall stand, I lined up my rifle and waited for the perfect shot. One squeeze of the trigger and the sharp crack of the rifle echoed. The boar dropped in a flash. We kept spreading feed and waited as the sun dipped lower. True to their nature, the greedy pigs couldn't resist the scent. No matter where they were, I crept closer, hiding behind a bush, watching them from a distance. Once my target was squarely in range, I pulled the trigger. Just one well-placed shot, and the boar dropped on the spot. As night fell, we returned to our enclosed hunting blinds for the final round. I picked a good position, steadied my aim, and when the moment was right, fired. Perfect execution. The shadowy figure dropped back and lay completely still. After years of trekking through the wilderness and facing countless intense hunts, I thought I was well acquainted with the dangers of the wild. But with the wild boar population rising at an alarming rate, we couldn't help but feel concerned. These animals have become more aggressive, frequently destroying crops and threatening the livelihoods of local residents. Responding to a call from local authorities, we once again set off, driven by a shared mission to restore peace to this land. By late afternoon, we arrived at a swampy area bordering a field, a notorious haven for crop-raiding wild boars. We had already scattered bait to lure them in. Tempted by the irresistible scent, the boars began to emerge, growing in number. Every movement they made fell directly into our line of sight. From a high lookout post, my teammate carefully adjusted his rifle, locked on his target, and pulled the trigger. The surprise shot landed perfectly. The boar collapsed instantly. In a nearby hunting blind, Henry and I were set up with our gear, patiently waiting. After nearly 20 minutes, shadows began to stir. More boars had arrived. We instantly locked eyes onto them through our scopes, tracking every subtle move. When the boars let their guard down, a burst of gunfire ripped through the still evening air. One boar dropped immediately, a flawless shot after such intense anticipation. The rush of success was overwhelming. Pride and joy lit up our faces. It was nearly dark when we prepared to head home, but then we spotted another group of wild boars foraging quietly in an open area. We moved quickly into position, rifles raised, eyes focused. I picked my target and gave a short call to grab its attention. The moment it paused, I fired. The bullet tore through the air and struck it cleanly. Despite a panicked attempt to flee, it only managed a few unsteady steps before collapsing. We returned to the hunting ground as planned. Suddenly, a shadow crept in from the distance, weaving through the grass ahead. I quickly raised my rifle, steadied my hands, and took aim. Even from that far away, my shot was precise, landing a direct hit that dropped the boar instantly. Fresh from our recent success, we headed toward a nearby clearing in search of another opportunity. And there they were. The boars were right in front of us. Seizing the moment, my buddy moved forward carefully, every step measured to avoid making a sound. Then, boom, a single thunderous shot echoed, signaling another triumphant moment for our hunting journey. The deep tracks pressed into the muddy ground were unmistakable. Wild boars had definitely been here. They had clearly been foraging nearby and hadn't gone far. And just as we expected, one appeared before us, peeking out from behind a tree, oblivious to the danger. I took shooting stance, calmly pulled the trigger, and in an instant, it went down, likely never realizing what hit it. We use a variety of strategies to hunt wild boars, including waiting silently from high up in the trees. The bait we placed below worked like a charm, drawing one boar in for a feast. While I was still distracted, Kane, perched above, took a bold, precise shot. The boar screamed in pain, staggered a few steps, then crumpled to the ground. And just like that, our adventure comes to an end.